minutes later, maybe not even that, he does exactly the same thing on a yellow, which tells me that from a physical point of view, he's still miles off it at the moment. Look, he's a world-class player, he's a Ballon d'Or winner, but at this moment in time, he does need minutes on the pitch, but yeah, he's nowhere near the Rodri he was before that serious injury.
Well, Man City did score, Cherki with the goal, but that was a bit of a shambolic pinball effort, wasn't it? The ball was going well wide, deflected back in. It wasn't exactly the best created goal, but they did score. However, Erling Haaland didn't score. What have you got to say to summarise his performance tonight?
Look, I've got to be very careful what I say here, because Erling Haaland is one of the greatest finishers on this planet right now and might end up being one of the greatest this planet has ever produced. But that's 1 goal in 8 now. And, you know, I looked at his movement. The strikers go through patches and streaky patches. And I don't worry about him. He will come again. But just in terms of this particular game, I'm looking at him for movement. There's no movement there. I'm looking at Marmoush when he comes on and he's running in behind. I'm looking at Reinders and he's running in behind. I'm looking at Erling Haaland wanting to do something similar. And again, it's that performance that we saw at Old Trafford, where if it's not Erling Haaland, he probably gets taken off, or if they have more options on the bench, he probably gets taken off. And that's just where he is right now. So it's a worrying performance from him. It's a worrying little run. Will he come good again? Absolutely 100%. And he'll still be top scorer in the Premier League. But Manchester City need him now. If they're going to come back, claw back what happens in the Premier League, and they're actually going to make sure that they give it to Arsenal come the very end of the season, then he needs to get back to the form that he was a month or so ago, because he and City, from a defensive point of view, are a million miles away from it.
City next week, home to Galatasaray. They are away to Atletico Madrid tomorrow in one of the early games, Galatasaray. But the pressure is on in that game, isn't it?
Absolutely. And look, do you expect them to win against Galatasaray? Absolutely, at home. But then, you know, we expected them to get something out of today. I actually did think it would be a difficult game, but then again, we look at the 41 days from not playing, just the 2 friendlies that Bodo Glimt have had. We just thought that maybe, or I thought that they might tire if City play their usual sort of passing game and really tire teams out. But if you go down to 10 men, you're not able to do that. That is an absolutely massive game, because they've got 7 games in February already. The last thing they want is to be in the playoffs and have 9 games when they've already got injuries. Need to put Marc Guéhi in the side as soon as possible, but they need some kind of protection as well. And Pep Guardiola, he might just have to not sacrifice his principles, but just play in a little bit of a different way. Might need 2 holders. You might need his fullbacks to play as fullbacks rather than wing backs, because at the moment they just look so open, and those back-to-back performances are very worrying going forward. I mean, in a way, it's good. I don't mean this disrespectfully. It's good that they got Wolves coming up, but Wolves aren't the Wolves side that they've been this season. They're looking difficult to beat at the moment. So yeah,
they're in form. Yeah,
well, absolutely. So I say it's a big week. Every week is a big week. It's Manchester City. But one thing they do not want to do is be below that bottom line and be in the playoffs, because those 2 extra games are making it 7 to 9. They're just going to tire this City side out, and I expect them to get through, although you don't know who they're going to get in the playoffs, and you just alluded to it, what happened last season. But also, even if they do, it's just extra games that come the end of the season, the business end of the season. How fit are they going to be? They need to go on that winning run now to catch Arsenal, and if they are going to win in the Champions League as well, they need to be fresh. They need to make sure they finish in the top 8.
Bodo Glimt 3, Man City 1. Time now for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Scott Minto, who are you going for?
Do you know what? I thought Nico O'Reilly played really well, and he went forwards. I mean, do I pick a Bodo Glimt player, or do I pick a Man City player?
Of course you pick a Bodo Glimt player.
I didn't know we got lots of Norwegian listeners here. Ryan Cherki, I just want to give a mention, because I did think he was very, very good. But, I mean, look, how can you not give it to... I mean, Jens Hauger is a brilliant strike, but Berg, for me, was the one who got the 2 goals and really psychologically put Bodo Glimt in front, where City never really looked like they were going to come back. So I'm going to give it to their number 9, Kasper Berg.
Yeah, he gave them the belief. The Hauger goal was sensational. Very, very quickly, Scott, and I'm not allowed the time to ask you this, but Phil Foden was taken off on 70 minutes with the score at 3-1. He is not in form right now. Should England be worried?
Look, there's still plenty of time between now and the summer, but at this moment in time, I said for 10-15 minutes before that, I'd take him off. Yeah, he was not in good form back-to-back games, but I think there's a lot of City players that can say that.
Indeed. Scott, thank you very much. That was our Here For It hero, man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here For It. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Rodri sent off, 2 yellows. Manchester City beaten away to Bodo Glimt, who get their first win in the Champions League. It's a massive story, and no doubt that will be part of the Sports Bar's topics tonight on TalkSport. Around about 10:15 they'll be taking your calls. Make a note of the number 03717 223344. Coming up next on TalkSport, Spurs against Dortmund. Coming up next on TalkSport 2, Inter against Arsenal.
What you got here for us?
Kick off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. 18+gambleaware.org.
It might be cold outside, but things are really warming up at the Wren Winter Sale, with red-hot prices on our high-quality, fully built kitchens and fitted bedrooms. Right now, there's up to 60% off fully built kitchens and all bedroom units, plus up to 7 years interest-free credit. Made for making you feel warm inside, whatever the weather. Wren, made for living. Visit your nearest Wren showroom. Offers apply when you buy 5 or more kitchen units or 3 or more bedroom units. Finance subject to status and minimum spend.
January. A month of no sun, no carbs, no sugar, and no commission on your investments with IG. That's more like it. Plus, get up to £2,000 cash back when you transfer your portfolio. Search IG.com and start the year the right way. IG. Trade, invest, progress. Your capital is at risk. Other fees may apply. New customers only. Offer valid until 31st of January 2026 on ISA GIA or SIP accounts. T's and C's apply.
On day 3 of leftovers for lunch, have a day off. Switch it up with a double cheeseburger for $2.49 on the McDonald's Saver menu.
Leftovers left the chat.
Talk about saver satisfaction. Served from 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
And yes, we will build the wall.
The ladies not for turning.
It's going to be a U-turn.
It's pulling a U-turn from Labour. About the U-turn.
Times change, but for over 240 years, the Times and Sunday Times have been on the ground, delivering in-depth, trusted reporting, so you can understand what's really going on. Times change. The Times remains.
Whatever kind of football fan you are, TalkSport and the Coral Daily Download are here for it to celebrate the fans every day. Whether you're a front row seater or a prawn sandwich eater, a half-and-half scarf wearer or a lifelong faithful torchbearer, a retro shirt for every game or bare-chested, even in the rain. For all the latest news, reaction and odds this season, don't miss the Coral Daily Download. Every morning from 6 on TalkSport. With Coral, we're here for the fans. 18+gambleaware.org. Champions League live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
The UK's #1 football experience.
Kick off live on TalkSport.
Caicedo down the middle, he squares it to Pedro, it's 1-0 to Chelsea! Van der Ven and the Jez bench. If you're Thomas Frank, the way that he looked round, it was a lack of respect.
He sat out with a back 5, Thomas Frank. I think it's been really negative, and ultimately they paid the price.
I think it's pretty evident that if no one gets the time, no one can turn this around. This is not a quick fix.
Bournemouth 3, Tottenham 2.
Van der Ven comes over and he's calling a fan out for a fight.
And it's yet more home disappointment for Thomas Frank and Spurs.
I didn't quite understand the size of the job.
With the fan base, with the stadium they've got, it needs to be better.
This is astonishing. It's Tottenham 1, West Ham 2.
The chant around the stadium a few moments ago, sacked in the morning.
Can you tell me if they're a pressing team? Can you tell me if they're a counter-attacking team? Are they difficult to break down? They're none of those.
There's a lot of things and changes going in the right direction. We are in transitional season with a supertanker we're turning around.
Well, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium are normally at this time, with about 10 minutes to kick off, I'd say it's filling up, but it isn't, basically. We're looking around us, Danny Murphy, and even in the big wall away to our right, there's a lot of empty seats. Now, they may fill up. There may be fans on the concourse who will take their seat just before kick-off, but, and especially opposite, you just pointed out, opposite us, the top tier, I mean, there's so many empty seats. Paul Hawksby was on TalkSport earlier saying that actually this might be the case. He'd had messages from people who have season tickets or who have to buy an extra ticket to come to this game saying they're not going to bother tonight. I found it extraordinary, bearing in mind that they've still got a chance of the top 8, but it could be this place isn't full tonight.
Well, as you said, normally, when we've been here previously, that would be more full. But it's an expensive place to come and watch your football. And their home form has been nothing short of disastrous, really, hasn't it? So I understand people in the end will vote with their feet, because this is a huge stadium to fill. And they want to be entertained, they want to be excited. And it's been far from that. You know, let's be honest, they've been struggling to create, make chances. Fans now demand good football, front foot football, and wins. The expectation of supporters is higher, and I think than it's ever been across the division, more or less.
That's because they're being charged a lot. That's why. And
yeah,
you're right.
mainly, yeah. But ultimately, you want the supporters to get behind the players, but it doesn't look like it's going to be full, does it? That's for sure.
Well, Paul Hawksby actually summed it up when I was listening to H&J earlier. He said on TalkSport this afternoon, Thomas Frank isn't totally to blame, but he isn't blameless either. And you're right about that home form. No home win in 4, 6 wins in 16 home games this season. One of those was against Doncaster, who everybody's been beating this season apart from Peterborough. He isn't totally to blame, but the way he sets up his teams got criticised. We heard people criticising it in that piece a moment ago. So what is he to blame for specifically, Thomas Frank?
I don't think the fans feel like there's a progression or an identity of what the team are trying to do. He tweaked the different partnerships in different areas of the pitch. He tweaked the formation at times. I understand that because they've been struggling. He's been trying to find a winning formula. Top managers tend to be, this is the way we're playing, this is what we're going to do. The personnel might change, but Thomas Frank's system and personnel has changed too much for the fans to be able to recognise an identity and what he's trying to do at the moment. Now, versatility is not a bad thing as a manager. We all know you've got to adapt sometimes. But when you're winning games and you're changing all the time, you look like you don't really know your best 11 or your best formation, and that's one of the gripes with this Tottenham fan base at the moment.
It is. We've just had a light show. It's probably the least welcome light show I've ever witnessed pre-season. But actually, the Spurs fans singing along to their anthem. Let's go to Portman Road in the Championship. Just been a goal there, Ian Abrahams.
9 gone, Ipswich 1, Bristol City 0. Jack Clark picked up the ball left-hand side, cut inside the penalty area to his right foot, a low drive into the corner net beyond Vitek. Ipswich 1, Bristol City 0.
4 wins in a row for Ipswich, win and they go second. Middlesbrough in second at the moment, they go to Stoke tomorrow. Ipswich 1, Bristol City 0. In case you missed it earlier, the 5:45 in the Champions League, it finished Bodo Glimt 3, Manchester City 1. Teams in the tunnel here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Thomas Frank, well, he said, and listen, he's admitting it, I need to win more football matches. It's stating the obvious, but he's well aware of what he needs to do. He also said, Danny Murphy, I understand emotion in football. Some people have said that this job is too big for him. He was a good fit at Brentford, but this, with the expectation, the size of the ground, the size of the club, the size of the fan base, too much for him. Is that fair?
Not yet. It could be the case because he is struggling, and I did expect a bit more of a consistent level of performance from Tottenham. They have had injuries, that's fair enough, and they are adapting to new ways, but we'll have to. I personally would like to give him a little bit longer till I judge him. The reality is, Aid, it happens when you're a player, it happens when you're a manager. You only ever really know if you're capable of doing it on the big stage when you get there. Doing it somewhere else doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be able to do it under the scrutiny of this crowd and the media here at Tottenham every week. So he's got to answer some questions, and in the next couple of weeks he needs some results. He has to get some results.
And listen, we're looking with our own eyes as we get closer and closer to the teams coming out, closer and closer to kick off live on TalkSport. Spurs against Dortmund. There's still a lot of empty seats, and I'm looking online and there are unsold seats for this game. And there's a lot of them as well. Yeah. Spurs fans wanted Champions League football. They've got it, but they don't want to come and watch this lot.
4-4-2 formation, we think, is how he's lining up, with Contatc in goal, a back four of Melling, Gabriel Pereira, Suzuki and Lopez, a midfield four of Elianusi, Madsen, the captain Delaney and Achori, with Dawson and Cornelius making up a very physical front two for the hosts this evening. The visitors, they line up in a familiar 3-4-2-1 formation as they emerge also alongside Copenhagen to this rapturous crowd here in Copenhagen. They line up with Milinkovic-Savic in goal, a back three of Juan Jesus, Buongiorno and Di Lorenzo, the captain, at the back. Gutierrez, McTominay, Lobotka and Spinazzola, a midfield four. Elmas Vergara supporting Rasmus Højlund, who's back on familiar territory this evening. As I said, Rasmus, a former Copenhagen player, 19 appearances for the Danish side here with 0 goals, but he has scored on his most recent visit back to this stadium in a 4-3 defeat at the hand of Copenhagen when he played for Manchester United. He will be familiar in this ground, of course, from his Danish career, 31 appearances and 13 goals, and he'll be hoping to make a dent in the scoreline this evening. Copenhagen, they come here on relatively good form. They've won their last 2 Champions League games, so by the same scoreline of 3-2, the most recent scalp being Villarreal, whereas Napoli lost their last game 2-0 to Benfica, and their only Champions League points this campaign have come when they've played at home in Italy. A side note, Copenhagen chasing their 50th European win should they be successful tonight. And domestically, both teams struggling. They are the reigning champions in their individual leagues, but this season Napoli are trailing Inter Milan by 6 points and Copenhagen sit 12 behind somewhat surprise leaders AGF Aarhus. With league form suffering domestically, both will be conscious of trying to get further in this competition, and as they precariously sit in the playoff places just above the elimination, tonight really is a must-win encounter. The perfect venue for it here, the Parken Stadium, a cool, brisk -1 degree. It's dry though at least, and as you can see, smoke underneath the floodlights. It's a lovely evening for football. The pitch is a hybrid surface, so no issues there. And the referees will be bringing the captains close together soon for the toss. Irfan Plechlo from Bosnia-Herzegovina, the referee, assisted by a Croatian and Slovenian linesman, and hopefully we won't need it, but VAR is there should we require it. Copenhagen in the whites with the blue trim, a clean kit, as is familiar. Napoli in their away kit, all blue, slick, midnight blue. And as the toss is made and the captains shake hands, both sides now get into their starting formation. Parken Stadium is also the stadium for the national team here in Denmark, and there is a Scandinavian presence on both sides. 38,000 people have packed in here tonight. It's a cauldron when it gets going. The stadiums are high, they're tall, they're on top of you. There's a phenomenal light show prior to the teams emerging, and some tifos in both ends behind the goal. It's making for an unbelievable atmosphere, and as you can see, the floodlights bellowing down in the sky, the smoke is clearing, and both teams now get into their huddle before they start the game. Napoli looking like they will be lining up from right to left, Copenhagen left to right. It's hard to see in the picture at the moment as that smoke does clear. The cold, cool evening isn't helping matters when it comes to clearing the night sky. In fact, our view here from the screen is pretty obscure, so hopefully that will clear quite quickly to make my life a lot easier. Antonio Conte's men very, very poor on the road. They'd have had higher expectations this season in the European competition following a very successful league campaign last season where they were, as I said, champions, but resurgent Inter looking likely to do well in that league as they sit 6 points ahead. And so really you feel this could be last chance saloon for Napoli to try and resurrect some silverware in their season. So with that said, the referee checks the goalkeepers, he raises his arm, he checks with the timekeeper. It will be Napoli ready to take the centre of the pitch, ready to kick off. The referee's just delaying proceedings here. He's waiting for that fog to clear. As I mentioned, the pre-game light show and fireworks is leaving some lingering smoke, and I think he's worried about the visibility. The referee is standing inside the Napoli defensive half, looking towards the goal they'll be attacking, and I'm not sure he's satisfied yet with his own viewpoint. So that goes some way to describe just how hard it is for us on the screen to see what's going on. But I can tell you it will be a Napoli kickoff when we do get going. Players sporting long base layers, gloves are on too. You can tell from the breath that comes out of their mouths just how frosty an evening it is here in the Danish capital this evening. When they do get going, it will be Napoli in the all blue, as I say, kicking from right to left. Both sets of players running on the spot. A few star jumps out there just to try and keep warm whilst the referee delays proceedings here. Still not satisfied, and somewhat unfortunate start to the proceedings here. The fans were whipped into a little bit of a frenzy there as the players emerged, and it's been dampened somewhat by the fact that we can't yet get going. So hopefully the players don't look particularly ruffled by it. They're just having some last minute instruction. The referee's fixing his microphone, making sure the last checks are ready, and with the whistle being pursed to his lips. Is he teasing us here? Yep, still no start here, so we will be a couple of minutes behind the other games. Referee now though does look satisfied, and with that said, he begins play. So Napoli taking centre circle and immediately pumping the ball all the way back to Milenkovic-Savic, who scuffs a clearance upfield and is cleared by Copenhagen. So Napoli all blue, thank God they are, because with this view it is hard to make out the players, let alone the teams here. The white kit of Copenhagen blending in beautifully with the rising fog, so only when we zoom in do we get a full detail on the players, but I can see that Napoli have won a free kick halfway inside the attacking half. All the men going forward here, high line from Copenhagen. They're on their own D essentially, with the free kick being taken from about 40 yards out on the right hand side, taken short and exchanged a couple of passes. They resist the temptation to deliver it in the box, with Copenhagen pushing up the line. Worked it out to the right hand side, ball delivered into the box and cleared behind for the first corner of the game there by the Copenhagen defender Suzuki, it was, who made the defensive clearance, and good job he did. There was an on-rushing forward coming onto it. I think he might have been offside, but it was McTominay who was threatening. And the first corner from the attacking left-hand side from Napoli here. 1 minute gone, first corner. Arm up in the air, Elmas to deliver right-footed, plays it short. And it's a well-worked corner, back out to Elmas, who shimmies, takes on his man, but passes the ball. Receives it back, Elmas. One dummy, tries to get to the byline, can't, cuts back, right-footed into the box, half cleared, and finds its way back to Elmas, who delivers it again, and it's looping around in the box, but cleared by Copenhagen, but only as far as the last Napoli defender, who will take the touch out of his feet, and a beautiful cross-field delivery from the right back to the left to find Elmas again, who jinks inside, then outside, then inside. Right foot into McTominay. Plays it out wide and now all the way to the back, and Napoli here have settled very well. 2 minutes in. Not sure Copenhagen have touched the ball yet. With De Lorenzo out to the right to Spinazzola. Back to De Lorenzo, who misses it out into the central back partner of Buongiorno, who left foot sprays one out to the left, but it beats the man, goes into the touchline, and that'll be a throw-in deep inside the Copenhagen half. Head coach Jakob Nistrup barking out technical orders. I'm not sure whether the players on the far side of the pitch will be able to see him as we wait for the atmosphere to continue to clear here. And Melling steals a few inches there with the throw-in. Referee has sent him back and then delivers it long down the wing. Overhead clearance is loose. Ball finds itself to the feet of the left wide man for Napoli, Elmas, who advances down the line and then loses out. Robust challenge, but fair one, before fouling his counterpart, and that'll be a Copenhagen free kick deep inside their own half on the right hand side. Good defensive work there, I believe it was from Labocca. As Conte gesturing there, doesn't feel it was a foul, I don't believe, but it was, and Kotorski, the Copenhagen goalkeeper, comes about 30 yards from his goal and slowly places the ball down before taking the goal kick, the free kick rather, taking a bit of a sting out of the early pressure here that Napoli have put on his side. And the free kick long, excuse me, cleared down the left wing and then recycled back at the back now to Milenkovic-Savic, out of his feet, plays it down to the right to to the captain De Lorenzo. De Lorenzo into the midfielder McTominay, who pops it back, and this is a very energetic high press here from the Copenhagen front two. Two tall, imposing characters up front for the Danish team today. as the ball breaks clear, and now it's Napoli who can come forward at pace down the left-hand side with Spinazzola. Left foot delivery into the box, it misses everyone, goes to the back post, and cleared by Copenhagen now come forward with it. They try and work the line to Victor Darson, who is adjudged to have been fouled there, and I think he was, and the referee's given a free kick. Good hold-up play from the young 17-year-old there. He's quite the, he's not the household name around Europe, but they think very highly of him in these parts. 15 senior appearances, his 5th this evening in Champions League football. 2 goals in his previous 4 appearances in the competition, and the 17-year-old will be making people take note of his talents from across Europe if he continues like this. The free kick comes to nothing, and Napoli now, with Spinazzola once again breaking down the left. Finds nothing on and doubles back and plays it backwards and square to Juan Jesus, who helps passing the ball across the back line, and Di Lorenzo now comes forward 20 yards inside the Copenhagen half into McTominay, who's come short to receive it, turns and doubles back to Juan Jesus, who's the central defender, but he's pushed a long way forward now. A couple of 1-2s, finds its way to Elmas. Elmas blocked cross, but gets back to the ricochet, and he's 2 yards or so from the byline here, looking for an option. Plays it back to McTominay, who's buzzed around the midfield, always an option. Napoli, possession based here, not afraid to recycle the ball. Very, very, very quick press from Copenhagen, sees the ball all the way back to Milenkovic-Savic, who takes one touch and out to Juan Jesus. Spinazzola, first time into the feet of the forward, misses it out, and it's Delaney who can come forward now for Copenhagen. The captain on the ball, left-footed, driving forward. No options, so he doubles back and plays in the left-back Lopez. Back to Delaney, back to Suzuki. Trying to take the sting out of the Napoli possession-based game now. Some quick 1-2s intercepted, and now Napoli can come on the break, and then they're coming at pace. And Højlund looks for an early ball, but in truth, it was Vergara who daisied on the ball there, delayed the pass and was dispossessed. And now Copenhagen, under no pressure, can come forward. Long diagonal ball into Cornelius, brings it down well on his chest. Good touch there from the big man. To Melling now, who's the right back. All the way back to Suzuki. Suzuki threatens a long ball forward, but plays it out to Pereira. Pereira back to Melling. Melling tries to play the ball in behind to the runner, Cornelius. He gets there first. Milenkovic comes out and misses it. Cornelius now wide on the right, looking for an option here. Milenkovic retreats back to the goal. Cross comes in towards Dasson. Well defended there by Napoli. Calmly taken down at the back post. Laid into the goalkeeper, who pumps it long into the Danish sky. But only down the throat of the centre-half Suzuki, who can build another attack with some quick passes, which Napoli managed to win back the ball before winning back a free kick. And after a frantic bit of play there, both teams trying to inject a bit of pace into the play, and a good passage, I have to say. Copenhagen, they got in behind the defence quite well there. Milenkovic came to try and get it, was in no man's land for a split second, but the angle was wide for Cornelius, and the danger was snuffed out. 7 minutes gone, and a Napoli free kick deep inside their own half, which they play short, giving each defender a touch of the ball. With Juan Jesus into Buongiorno. And now forward again. Big diagonal, great ball there from Di Lorenzo to his Italian colleague Spinazzola, who beats his man on left-footed, deliveries in, overhit, and sails harmlessly out for a goal kick. Which you have to say, Katarski, the Copenhagen goalkeeper, is in no rush to take. The two defenders have split. They're standing on the apex of the 6-yard box, as you commonly see nowadays in the modern game, giving the option to play it short. The midfielders have all pressed up as a result of that, and the goalkeeper goes long. Flicked on by Cornelius into his strike partner Dafson, but a loose layoff. He'll be disappointed with that. He's intercepted, and now Napoli can come forward from the back with Spinazzola, who already has covered some serious mileage in this game, and that's probably a reason for the loose pass, as he kicks it off harmlessly when attempting a short 5-yard pass running at pace. So Melling with the throw-in into Delaney, who hooks it over his shoulder into Cornelius, who comes back from an offside position to receive the ball, and the linesman has flagged, and that will be a free kick 10 yards inside the Napoli half for the Italian reigning champions, which Juan Jesus has come to take all the way back to Milenkovic-Savic. The pitch now very visible. The frost has cleared from the smoke show. There's nothing underneath the night floodlights. It was a very foggy arena 10 minutes ago, but pleased to say it's all dispersed, and now the only fog you can see is the breath of the players as they exert themselves on the pitch, as Napoli play a few short passes around the back line before injecting a ball in between the lines to McTominay, who spins it out to the right hand side with Gutierrez. Gutierrez beats his man, turns down the cross and goes all the way back to his defensive partner Buongiorno. Plays it back deep towards the left, cut out there by Elianusi, who comes forward now. And here come Copenhagen, runners in behind. Cornelius once again willing to break the defensive line to get the ball down the channel. Cuts inside, left-footed pass is intercepted, and now Napoli can start a break into Højlund, who pops it off quickly to Vergara. Vergara right-footed finds Højlund running beyond the defender, and here he is facing him up on the left-hand side of the 18-yard box. He's waiting for support, goes it alone, right-footed strike, and it's just over the bar from Højlund. Fantastic effort there. Dropped the left shoulder, shuffled the ball onto his right side, just inside the apex of the 18-yard box. Really good effort here. Right-footed instep, curling towards the top corner. It's missed by a matter of inches. A stunning effort from the young Danish striker there. Plenty of whip on it. It missed it on height, not the width. It was on target if it was 6 inches lower. And a warning sign there. That was one long direct ball from Napoli, but into the right channel. And Højlund got there with plenty of room to spare, faced up his man, beat him easily, and that will keep Copenhagen honest as they track back in future when they lose the ball. And from the resulting free kick, it sails harmlessly through to Milenkovic-Savic, who plays it out to Juan Jesus. Comes forward, edging towards the halfway line. McTominay comes deep and sprays it out to Di Lorenzo. Di Lorenzo down the right-hand side to Gutierrez, who plays it back to Di Lorenzo, the captain. A couple of popped passes find their way back into McTominay now, inside the Copenhagen half, and he sprays it beautifully with his right foot out on the diagonal to Spinazzola, whose attempted cross is blocked. And that will be the second corner of the game, as Melling and Elianusi exchange a few words there. Melling, I'm not sure, happy with Elianusi's defensive efforts there. That diagonal is always on for Napoli, and McTominay coming deep to receive the ball is the perfect deliverer of that pass, as Elmas goes over to the left, attacking left, and will take the corner, whipped with the right foot. Arm is raised. Referee's just put a halt to proceedings here. There's some physical defending going on at the near post between the centre half who's come forward, Juan Jesus, and the young forward for Copenhagen, Dassen. Anyway, Elmas. Arm raised again. A couple of steps away from the ball. Runs up, right-footed, in-swinging delivery to the near post. Cleared by Copenhagen as far as the 18-yard box. Attempted volley is scuffed. And the loose ball is pumped forward into the night sky and mopped up by a Napoli defender who plays it all the way to Milenkovic-Savic and then receives it again. It is Gutierrez who was the last man back there. Into Lobotka, who's come deep, fakes the diagonal that I've been talking about and takes on a short one to Juan Jesus, who edges towards the halfway line, thinks better of it, and goes all the way back to the last man, who sprays it out to Di Lorenzo. Napoli continuing that patient possession-based build-up. Neither side afraid to go direct if they need to. McTominay receives the ball under pressure, drives forward and is fouled by Cornelius, who was doing his defensive duties not too well on that occasion, and it's a Napoli free kick which they take quickly just inside the Copenhagen half. McTominay on the ball again. He's seen a lot of it in this first half so far. Plays it out to Di Lorenzo, who attempts the ball into the box, which is cut out. The loose ball is picked up by Napoli once again before given away and won back again, I have to say, by Vergara, who is shimming in the box. Plenty of trickery, and he wins his side. Another corner, and that will be 3 corners now to Napoli. This time, though, the first from the attacking right. It was Suzuki who snuffed out the danger there as the tricky Vergara had entered the box and was trying to work himself an angle. Gutierrez has gone over to take it. This time it'll be another in-swinger, but with the left foot from the right side. No one at the near post this time. Everyone at the back stick for Napoli, and the ball is delivered in towards the near post. The runners got there, missed the first man, bobbled around and cleared by Copenhagen. A loose touch and an underhit back pass here sees Milinkovic-Savic winning the header in the centre circle, and thank goodness for Napoli he did, because they were in otherwise, and the loose ball bouncing around. But now it's Darsson who's shrugged off a few challenges and wins the ball back for Copenhagen on the attack. And now, some 20 yards inside the Napoli half, Copenhagen can enjoy some possession, popping the ball around. Good press, high energy press from Napoli there, forcing them all the way back, and it's the right back Melling who has the ball on the halfway line. Runs across field and plays it to Suzuki, who drops his shoulder, cuts infield, and now plays it out to the left back Lopez. Infield and then back to Suzuki. Suzuki tries to beat his man again, doesn't, plays a short pass and then receives it again. The game now a bit more stretched, with all the players spread across the field. High press from Napoli here as Copenhagen looks to play it across the back. A lot of pressure, sees the goalkeeper give it away, and Napoli come forward now inside the Copenhagen half. Right hand side, 30 yards from goal. Napoli with the ball, won back very well there. Frantic at the back for Copenhagen. They didn't like the pressure they were on the receiving end of there, and a bad clearance from Contatc. Hands over the ball, and now Napoli stringing 5, 6, 7, 8 passes together here, popping it off at will. Copenhagen in their shape, a very rigid looking 4-4-2. Evident that the big strikers there are physical, they're quick to run, they don't mind the ball in behind. That's the game they want to try and play, as Darsson pressures Milinkovic-Savic, who delivers the ball forward into Højlund, who pops it back into Elmas, who nutmegs his man and comes forward into the box. And it's a deflected pass that runs into the arms of Contatc, who saves the corner by diving to receive it. No chance of a back pass there. It was a deflection off the defender into Contatc, who places the ball at his feet and plays it to Pereira. Keeper has it back again, plays it to Suzuki, who's under a bit of pressure now, and he spins it out to the left, and Lopez down the line to Darsson, who's come to receive it on his chest, loses out to the defender, but that'll be a throw-in to Copenhagen just inside their own half. Going back a few moments with the long ball that was cleared from an attacking Napoli corner, Milenkovic had a real decision to make there. He'd come some 40 yards from goal to win a header, to take it off the foot of, I think it was Darsson who was rushing forward there, but had he got that wrong, mistimed it, got the man, missed the ball, it could have either been a goal or certainly an interesting decision for the referee to make. Had he made contact with the player there, it would have been last man, and certainly denial of a goal scoring opportunity. It's a good decision making there from the goalkeeper. He got there in good order and tidied it up well as Contatc delivers a diagonal off the right, and that will be an aerial challenge which was adjudged to be unfair, and Napoli have conceded the free kick, and it'll be a Copenhagen free kick about 30 yards from goal. Right hand side, Cornelius it was that won the free kick. Copenhagen sending everyone forward. You could throw a blanket right now over where all the players are gathering. They're all in the D. They're all in the D, attacking the Napoli end here. High line from Napoli. There's probably only 25 yards between ball and the line. Arm up, right-footed delivery towards the back post. Misses everyone. That goes out to Lopez. Lopez recycles it. Ball into the box towards Cornelius. Loses the header, and Napoli look to clear it. And they do so. And here they come now with pace down the left. They've got a break on here. If they can play the diagonal, which they do, they've got, Gutierrez has made great ground there, and now it's a 3-on-3 situation. Copenhagen getting back quicker than Napoli can attack. Di Lorenzo now. Ball on the 18-yard line with Vergara. Vergara into Di Lorenzo, who's in the box. Right-footed, tries a shot, blocks, and goes out to Gutierrez. 6 men in the box now for Napoli. He beats his man into the box, shrugs off a challenge. But good defending has seen him retreat and play the ball all the way back towards the halfway line. Gutierrez receives it back, and now Copenhagen in their shape, and Napoli forced to play the ball across the back line to Juan Jesus, who plays it all the way back towards Milinkovic-Savic. So they did well there, Copenhagen, to get back into their shape. There was some danger there, but they snuffed it out, and Milinkovic-Savic pumps it diagonally to Elmas. That ball is always on. A phenomenal touch out of the night sky. First touch, Bergkamp-esque there from Elmas. Plays it back to McTominay. McTominay threatens to shoot, doesn't. Plays it into Vergara, shimmies, right-footed, edge of the box, and it's just wide of the far post there. Good trickery from Vergara, who puts his hands to his face in disbelief that didn't go in. McTominay, the architect there, faking a shot, rolling it in. Quick feet off the left onto the right. and from about 19, 20 yards out, he just drags it wide of the post. But the keeper was scrambling. In fact, I think on review, it just shaved the post there. Good play from Vergara. And a let-off, it has to be said, for Copenhagen. A good game this, entertaining. Distinctive styles. Napoli really good with the ball at their feet. Copenhagen every time, and just again, then go direct to either Cornelius or Victor Darson, the first chance they can. Quick throw-in now. Copenhagen down the line to Cornelius, the willing runner, but a heavy touch, and that will be a throw-in to Napoli halfway inside their half, which I think both sets of players are grateful they are not in a rush to take. Pacey play from both sides. Copenhagen really working their front men with the long balls down the channels for them, and Napoli quick feet, skillful, injecting quick passes after a period of possession-based football as the throw-in makes its way by foot all the way across the back line into Spinazzola, who delivers it long, and the clearance goes back to Spinazzola, but a poor header finds its way to Copenhagen left back Lopez. Lopez on a booking. If he gets a caution this evening, he'll miss the next game. Little subplot there, he'll be careful in the challenge, and a long ball forward from Copenhagen is misjudged and harmlessly rolls out for a goal kick to Milinkovic-Savic. Both managers prowling the technical areas, arms crossed, expecting, well, I don't know if they're expecting more from their team. I think Copenhagen, they get into their shape well. Napoli probably will be the happier of the two sides with their start as we approach the 20-minute mark here. And Milinkovic taking a short free kick, which Napoli will try and play out from the back. They turn down the opportunity to go long, and the Botka all the way back to Savic. Savic now to Di Lorenzo, who can come forward down the right. Got plenty of time and space. Not much option ahead of him, so he runs into the empty grass ahead of him before popping it inside, and now it's McTominay, left foot on the halfway line to Juan Jesus. Juan Jesus, another injection of pace forward, and he's brought down by Cornelius. The referee waves advantage. I'm not sure there was one, but he digs out a pass which Copenhagen intercept and win, and I think the referee will feel like he should have blown the whistle there, as Copenhagen can come forward at pace now. Elianusi loses the ball. Good defensive work from Gutierrez there, who plays it back to the captain, Di Lorenzo, and once again McTominay has come deep to receive the ball, and off of his right foot plays a quick pass, and Napoli will begin their next wave of attack with a long direct ball forward, this time towards Højlund, who loses the ball, and here comes Victor Darson, who plays in Cornelius immediately, who's running the right hand channel this time. Players rush in to get up and help to support him. He holds the ball up very well. Elianusi now, the nearest man to him, picks up the ball, and Delaney and Elianusi exchange a few passes, with the latter receiving it back, running head up, looking for options, but Napoli have defended the space well there and force the ball back to the defensive partnership of Suzuki and Pereira, who only have the goalkeeper Contatc to find with the ball. Contatc almost daring the Napoli's players to come and challenge him for it. They do so, and he pumps the ball long into the night sky. It finds no one. It's a complete and utter waste, and Milinkovic-Savic can come some 20 yards from his own goal with the ball at his feet, and he will survey his options here before deciding whether to go short or long, and he goes short. Crisp evening, beautiful evening here in Copenhagen. It's a phenomenal arena for a game of football, it really is. The first meeting, as I said, between the two sides, and it started brightly. Both teams with attacking intent, neither settling back, both distinct styles of play, one direct, one possession based, but both clear with a desire to win. As Napoli manipulate the ball, exchange a few short passes, and find themselves some 40 yards away from the Copenhagen goal, working the ball from the right to the left via the midfield too. And now out to Gutierrez, left-footed, cross intercepted at the front post, only as far as the defender strides forward, attempts a shot from 35 yards, it's blocked, and a loose ball is picked up and played back to Milinkovic-Savic. Great atmosphere here, the crowd getting behind their team, the Napoli fans really making themselves heard. They're a small subsection of currently behind the goal that Napoli are defending, but they're loud and they're proud, and they'll hope to see their team pick up their first points on the road in this season's Champions League competition as they exchange passes once again to gain territory, and now they find themselves with McTominay about 40 yards from goal. Sprays it out to Di Lorenzo, who's joined the attack. Right-footed cross towards Højlund, overhit, and the Danish striker throws his arm up in frustration as the ball goes out for a goal kick to Copenhagen. The opposite goal, the opposite end to the Napoli fans. There's huge flags being waved proudly here by the Copenhagen faithful behind the goal. Both sides are stalwarts in European competition. It is actually amazing they haven't met previously. The only competition that Napoli have faced from the Danish league being Midtjylland some few seasons ago, and they were successful, so they'll certainly be hoping to repeat that this evening. So we approach 25 minutes now on the clock. Copenhagen 0, Napoli 0. Neither goalkeeper has had a save to make yet, with only the one shot on goal from Højlund just narrowly going over the bar. As the goal kick is picked up by Napoli, and Milinkovic-Savic now has the ball. Pressed by Darfson, plays it out right to Gutierrez, to Di Lorenzo, back to Milinkovic-Savic. Chased by Victor Darfson, the 17-year-old, the willing runner. Gangly, game fella. 17 years old, a lot thought of him, the Icelandic forward. As the ball pumped forward and rolls to Suzuki, who pumps it back forward, and some aerial duels now see the ball finally rest at the feet of Melling, the right back for Copenhagen, into Delaney. Some neat passing finds Elyounoussi, who plays it out towards Darfson, but the ball's intercepted and cleared by Napoli, and McTominay wins the ball. Shrugs off his man under tight conditions in the middle of the pitch, pops it into his midfield partner Lobotka, who is fouled by Delaney. A foul Delaney didn't have to make, it does have to be said. He was facing his own goal, he's under pressure with no space, and Delaney almost couldn't get the brakes on as he ploughs into the back of him and gives away the free kick, which Napoli will take short and work the line and now find Vergara running the byline. Defender comes across Suzuki and he gives away a corner, the fourth one of the evening to Napoli. Off the attacking right, so I suspect it will be the left in-swing as we see a replay of that. And yeah, dubious decision there. I think it's 6 of one and a half dozen of the other as to whether that came off the attacker or the defender, but alas, the officials have given it, and as per the previous corner off of this right-hand side, the left foot in-swinger, everyone starts at the back post. Juan Jesus has now run towards the front post. There's a bit of wrestling going on in there. Referee lets it play on and it's played short. Exchange passes. Now work to Lobotka. Right-footed into Di Lorenzo. Well worked. Cross goal. Cleared by the goalkeeper, who parries it into the path of the defender, who hooks it. Well worked routine there by Napoli. It gave them a situation there where they were trying to square it across goal to some runners. Ball now with Højlund in the box. Tries a back heel flick to beat his man. Fails. And Elyounoussi can go down the line to Cornelius, who controls it on his head badly. And now it's with Elmas. Elmas being tracked down by Cornelius, but he's too quick, cuts inside and then overruns the ball. Elyounoussi now comes forward with it. Beats his man with a lovely bit of trickery there, rolls his foot over the top of the ball. Darfson ahead of him. He takes on the pass, he's overhit it, it's well defended as well in truth. There from Di Lorenzo, the captain. Very experienced play there, just blocked the run of the young forward, and allowing the ball to sail through to Milinkovic-Savic, who wastes absolutely no time in getting the game back up and running, rolling it out to Gutierrez, who finds McTominay, who runs all the way across the width of the pitch and pops it off to Juan Jesus. Napoli now, some nice rotations in the middle, popping off small 5-10 yard passes to each other, everyone getting the touch as they edge forward. They're like a rugby team, passing backwards but gaining territory. They do it effectively and quickly as they now are 10-15 yards inside the Copenhagen half. The all midnight blue of the kit, the Napoli kit, slick against the night sky here in Copenhagen as they continue to be patient with the ball at their feet. McTominay once again at the heart of it, seeing plenty of ball. A real success story since he joined the Italians from Manchester United. Goal-scoring midfielder, enjoying himself here in Copenhagen this evening. Plenty of touches of the ball as they patiently keep moving it from right to left, not gaining too much territory, but minutes go by where they just manipulate the ball Out now to Di Lorenzo on the right, to Gutierrez now, overlapping him on the right-hand side, 20 yards from goal. Vergara gives an option, it's ignored, and it's all the way back now to the central defender, and then back to Di Lorenzo. Di Lorenzo whips it infield to Højlund, whose layoff is poor, and Copenhagen can win the ball, and Elianusi comes clear, overruns it, but beats his man as he looks to nip it off his feet. But a heavy pass sees Napoli win it back before giving it away, and that's a foul to Copenhagen, a free kick halfway inside their own half as Lopez, the left back, was bringing the ball forward. As we just see a replay there of that well-worked corner routine, it was great. I mean, I think all the Napoli players in the middle were offside should the ball have beaten the goalkeeper and made it into the 6-yard box, but well worked nonetheless, and they'll be trying to be clever once again if they get another corner, if they can add to their tally of 4 corners already. As we approach 30 minutes here in the first half, still neither goalkeeper with a save to make other than Kotarski there from the corner just intercepting the cross, but I wouldn't class that as a save necessarily. Just good goalkeeping, good commanding of his area in that play there, as he has the ball at his feet now, pops it into Lobotka. Lobotka loses it out, and now Copenhagen can come through. And it's a big long ball down the line, which is well defended by Napoli. Victor Darfson can't get near it. I think both strikers might start to show some frustration for Copenhagen. The balls into the channel were a bit more targeted in the first part of this first half here in Denmark, but recently, the last 10 minutes or so, it's been over here, not much for them to feed off, a bit scrappy as Copenhagen take their time over this throw-in that they have about 20 yards from the byline on the left-hand side. Lopez throws it in, and a poor touch, really poor touch from Elianusi, bounces off his leg, out for a throw-in, which Napoli will gratefully receive about 10 yards from the byline. In fact, as we see a replay there, the last touch was quite clearly off of a Napoli player. The referee has missed one there, as Di Lorenzo takes the throw-in, he won't mind. Flicked on, they're trying to work the line here. Vergara with the ball, he's on the floor trying to defend it, loses out, and now Suzuki has the ball, right-footed. Plenty of time, no one pressing him yet. Napoli, all men behind the ball. Suzuki plays it down along the ground to Kotarski. Kotarski pumps it high towards Victor Darfson, who loses the header, and the loose ball picked up by Delaney, who tries to play a first-time blind pass out to his full-back Melling, but it's a bad ball, and actually a bad decision, because he had plenty of time and space, Delaney, to bring the ball down there. And maybe that's just a sign that the lack of possession they have, it's just starting to make them rush when they do get the ball. There's a scrappy period of play there. Sees a loose ball picked up by Suzuki for Copenhagen. Ball played along the back. 36% possession so far for Copenhagen, 64 for Napoli, and that is certainly representative of the game I'm watching. As a loose ball there is contested, Napoli want a free kick, but the referee plays on here, advantage, as Elmas comes down the left, looking for options here. Shapes up his man, dummies to go down the outside, comes inside. But the Napoli player on the receiving end for that tackle, it was Lobotka, is still down in pain, and the referee's pulled it back. They want treatment. It's Delaney with the booking. It looked like a fair contest of the ball. We'll just see a replay here as Delaney goes in, and he's quite high there. I think this could be reviewed. The ball's bouncing. It's Lobotka who gets there first, and it's not a good challenge. Delaney comes in, tries to raise his foot to account for the bounce of the ball, to try and hook it almost away from the on-rushing Napoli player. He misses the ball and studs up into the side of the knee. It is an honest attempt to play the ball. The referee's brandished the yellow card here, but I've seen these decisions escalated, and Napoli's certainly furious. Lobotka still on the floor receiving treatment here. Di Lorenzo making the point quite vigorously that he feels more should be done about this, and Delaney, like all good footballers do when they've made a challenge that's borderline, he trots away as far away from the scene of the crime as he can, takes a bottle of water from the coaching staff. But with the VAR present in the stadium and the tournament, I have to admit I would be surprised personally if this isn't subject to review. And as we just get confirmation, there is a potential red card check, and I fear for Copenhagen here. The referee has signalled that he's going to the television, and It's not taken long for them to confirm the review. As we see Delaney biting his lip, he looks anxious. This is a big moment, and the referee is met with a still image of the leg. Yeah, the referee is met here with a still image with the foot on the side of the knee, studs up, all studs making contact with Lobotka's leg. And in live time, it looked an honest attempt. The ball was there, then it wasn't. It was quick. You slow it down and it looks like Lobotka played the ball with plenty of time, but it was a heat of the moment challenge. The ball was there to be won, but where Delaney's raised his foot, misjudged the bounce. I think he's going here. I don't think the referee has much choice. He signals the scene, signals the square, brings out the yellow card, cancels the yellow card with a gesture. Delaney's already walking, he knows what's coming, the armband's off, and the red card is brandished here to the Copenhagen captain. The Napoli players offer him some condolence. It won't mean anything to him. It's a massive game for his club tonight, and he's gone. He's gone, and I don't think he can have any complaints at all with that. He's pulls his shirt over his head. The beard disappears as he wipes sweat from his face into his white shirt, but he's got that long, lonely walk now. The tunnel's in the corner of the ground, right near where the Napoli fans are. They'll know how significant this is. They'll make him aware of it. He looks to the sky. He can have absolutely no complaints. Absolutely no complaints whatsoever in my mind. And that's a huge advantage for Napoli. And I have to say, I called it in the commentary a couple of minutes before he made that challenge. He'd made a really poor pass that he didn't need to make. He was rushed into making this pass that he had time to bring down. And I just wonder if that manipulation of the ball, that possession that Napoli have had, has just led to a little bit of frustration in the Danish team, and maybe that's what's led to the tackle. And as a result of that, a tactical rejig, and sadly it's the young forward I was looking forward to seeing more of him. It's Victor Dafson who's been sacrificed here. So Dafson has come off. I'll tell you who's come on the second I can get confirmation on the screen, but it looks like it's Pantelius Hadzidiakos who's come on, the central defender. So it's a it's looking like we'll see it as the play unfolds, but it's looking like a 5-3-1 now for Copenhagen. Almost like they're saying, come on, break us down. And Napoli, with the ball at their feet, they'll certainly try to do so as they bounce the ball around now. Into the feet, forward of Vergara. Vergara pops it back to Lobotka, who won the free kick. Into the feet of Elmas, brings it down, overhead kick attempted, doesn't make it. And the referee's given a free kick. I got excited there. He pointed towards the penalty spot, but that's because that's where the infringement took place, and it's an indirect free kick for a high boot. He attempted the overhead kick, and it's the new defender Hadzidiakos who made the most of it, but wins the free kick. And Copenhagen now have a chance to clear their ranks, catch their breath, and pump the ball long and forward to try and relieve some pressure on them. 37 minutes gone, the real talking point here being the red card, and Copenhagen now playing it forward to Cornelius, who had already got through a lot of running of the channels, and he'll be getting through a lot more as this game unfolds, as we get confirmation there that it's Hadzidiakos who has come on. In possession and out of possession, it is that 5-3-1 shape, so pretty confident that that's what Copenhagen will be going with for the rest of the game. Interesting if they do lose a goal, whether they'll try and counter. But here come Napoli again, and they win a corner kick, this time off the attacking left, which will probably be a right foot in-swinger, Melling giving the ball away. So Napoli continuing to play patient football here. I wonder if they'll try and inject a little bit more pace into play to try and stretch the 10 men of Copenhagen. As the corner, Elmas, right-footed, all in dark blue. He's got tights on underneath his shorts. Referee just holds play back. He doesn't like some of the pushing in the box. They've surrounded the goalkeeper here. There's no one at the near post. Elmas delivers right foot in-swinger to the penalty spot. And it's a free header, and it's a goal. It's a fantastic header. It's Scott McTominay. He almost looks surprised it's gone in. He didn't know where to go to celebrate, but he wheels off now towards the corner taker, Elmas. Jumped into the air, Conte up and down with delight. A free header, but McTominay rose high, got off the ground, into the top right-hand corner. Phenomenal delivery towards the penalty spot from Elmas. And minutes after taking a numerical advantage, Napoli seize the game 1-0 to the Italians. You have to say, on the balance of play, even when it was 11v11, no less than what they deserve. Whipped in, McTominay beats the man. It's a free header, it's zonal marking, he backs off a couple of yards, gets to the 6-yard box. It's a towering header, and it's a looping one at that. The ball, yeah, really good header. The ball is in swinging, but McTominay's coming away from the goal as he makes contact with the ball, so he generates huge amount of power towards that top right corner, and keeper no chance. Great header. Conte arms in the air. McTominay continues his phenomenal form. That's 4 Champions League goals now in 7 games for the big Scot. 1-0 Napoli. And from the restart, there's a bit of a collision here with looks like Højlund has come together here with Hatzidiakos. Looks like potentially the Copenhagen player was trying to block the run of Højlund as the ball was played back towards Contatc, but there's a bit of theatrics going on. I think the referee, yeah, there's nothing in it. The referee's been surrounded by some Copenhagen players who I think want to see some punishment upgraded here. Højlund sort of arms out. He's kind of saying, what? He was in my way. But he's been booked for his efforts, and that'll be a free kick just outside the centre circle for Copenhagen there. Never, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it booking, but the referee has booked Rasmus Højlund on his return to the Danish capital, and they will now take the free kick deep inside their own half. So Copenhagen trailing by a 0-0, a numerical disadvantage, 10 men on the pitch. Hard to see a way back into the game here. Head coach Jakob Nystrop is going to have to come up with something at half-time as they give away a free kick here to Napoli. Throw-in or a free kick, referee? What is he saying? He's saying a free kick, excuse me, to Copenhagen, 20 yards inside the Copenhagen half, which they will look to play short, and they do so across the back line. Lots of pressure from Napoli here. Long ball into Cornelius, misses it, and Juan Jesus can deal with the ball and play out to the left-hand side, and Spinazzola, who doubles across his man, shimmies a few times, beats his man, and he's on the end of a late tackle. And this is poor discipline here. That's Elianusi this time with a late tackle. Spinazzola going nowhere, shrugging off his man, trying to beat him with skill before playing it back to his defensive partner, and Elianusi, rather unprofessionally, a sign of the frustration, just nips away his ankles, and combine that effort with a tad bit of theatrics from the Napoli player, sees Elianusi, the latest man in the book. So that's 2 yellows and a red that the Bosnian referee has brandished so far. The red you have no arguments with. The yellows, in my opinion, a bit soft, but some poor discipline from Copenhagen there. Frustration at the situation they find themselves in as Napoli patiently make their way forward before Vergara overruns the ball and then gives away a free kick inside the Copenhagen penalty spot by pushing Lopez. He made sure the referee saw the theatrics in which he fell down with minimal contact. It was a foul, but the slight jump, bend of the knees and jump, probably not needed, as Contatc now pushes all of the players forward. There won't be any short free kicks, goal kicks, I don't think, now from the Danish side, as they look to try and gain some territory and find an unlikely way back into this tie. Goal kick, free kick taken forward. Loose ball now taken control of by Madsen, the centre midfielder for Copenhagen. Exchanging passes with Elianusi. Pereira coming forward, tries to play the ball out to the left to Achori, and he does. Back to Suzuki. Suzuki now 10 yards inside the Napoli half, fairly shrugged off the ball there by Vergara, and frustrating the Suzuki then pushes Vergara to the ground as he lost the ball out there. That was poor play by the Copenhagen defenders as Suzuki muscled off the ball there and then pushes him over in a sign of retaliation. And Napoli now, they won't mind. It just gives them another chance to take control of the ball. And as we approach 43.5 minutes on the clock here, I expect Napoli will look to try and keep hold of that ball until the half-time whistle. Gaining territory, but patiently working the ball across the midfield lines. McTominay now the goal scorer, right-footed out to Spinazzola, brings it down on his right instep out of the night sky, back to Juan Jesus. Spinazzola, left-hand side, McTominay always available, loving his evening. The difference maker so far. Di Lorenzo now into Lobotka. Technicians of the ball, these Napoli's players, they're all comfortable with it, they don't mind receiving it under pressure. As McTominay does so, spins away, plays it out to the right hand side. Lobotka back into McTominay. Di Lorenzo now into Højlund's feet. Højlund plays it to Vergara, loose touch, and the clearance intercepted by Di Lorenzo, who plays it to Gutierrez. Gutierrez left-footed cross is blocked. The block goes only so far as Gutierrez, who now rolls it into McTominay but sells him short. And a poor bit of play there by Copenhagen. As soon as they won the ball, Cornelius had head down and blindly sprinted for the Napoli goal. His midfield partner didn't quite read it and played a short one, thinking Cornelius was coming to feet. And after working hard to win the ball back, they lose it, and Elmas attacks now off the left on his right foot, tries an audacious effort on an angle that was never there really for a shot, and it goes looping high and wide into the night sky behind the goal. And that will be a Copenhagen goal kick as the fourth official raises the electronic board to show 4 minutes of added time here in this first half. A first half that has seen plenty of action, plenty of possession for Napoli. The main talking point coming around about the 37th minute mark with the sending off, 35th minute, I beg your pardon, of Thomas Delaney, with Napoli taking the lead only 4 minutes later with a header from Scott McTominay from an in-swinging Elmas corner. 3 minutes left of injury time here in the first half, and the familiar pattern of Napoli popping the ball about in midfield. Lobotka, freedom of the city, it seems. No one near him when he receives the ball. And to be honest with you, it was like that when it was 11v11. Really, Copenhagen have not got to grips with the midfield here at home this evening. As McTominay out to Lobotka to Di Lorenzo, who plays it to Gutierrez. Back to Lobotka. Plenty of touches for the two midfielders here, McTominay and Lobotka for Napoli. They're in no rush, they'll play their patient game, looking for the right angle, the right opening. Lots of rotations ahead of the player that has the ball, but they're not going anywhere. Gutierrez down the right, left foot, cuts inside, pops it into Vergara, exchanges with Di Lorenzo. Di Lorenzo tries a dummy and wins a corner kick, their sixth perhaps of the game, this time from the right hand side. Every time there's been a corner, it's been an in-swinger. That pattern once again being followed here, as it's Gutierrez who goes over to the right hand side, arm in the air, left foot in-swinger, plenty of movement in the box towards the penalty spot. It's Vergara who jumps up and wins it and sails harmlessly into the arms of the Danish club's goalkeeper Contatc. The smallest man on the pitch, he rose high, misjudged his jump, and he was actually coming back down towards the ground when his head made contact with the ball, hence why there was no real pace on it. Straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. So 47.5 minutes on the clock. Melling with the ball on the right hand side, plays it down the channel to Cornelius, but the ball is bending away from the runner and it goes out for a throw-in halfway inside the Napoli half. Melling there, not helping out his striker, he's playing it down the line to the runner, but he's played it with his left foot, so it's curling out of play. So as Cornelius is getting close to the ball's just moving further away from him, and Spinazzola, with ball in hand, is in no rush to take this throw-in. And when he eventually does so, he throws it all the way back to Juan Jesus, who plays it back to Milinkovic-Savic. Gets the ball out of his feet into the captain, Di Lorenzo, who will be happy with his team's performance so far this half. Nice diagonal, hallmark of the play. They're either playing quick, short, intricate passes, or they're really utilising the width here and popping it out diagonally as they come forward, streaming forward, in fact, with Di Lorenzo to Gutierrez. 30 yards from goal, Lobotka, right-footed, whips it into the box, misses everyone out, sails behind for a goal kick. And I would suggest that by the time Copenhagen have retrieved the ball to take the goal kick, the referee will check his watch once and twice. And I think as the goal kick is taken, and pumped, no doubt, deep into the night sky, the referee will call time. And what has been an interesting first half, and indeed Conte's already making his way down towards the change room. Ball taken, goal kick, contested aerially, Cornelius winning it, but no one looking for the second ball. As we approach the 49th minute, the referee still happy to let play go on, and now blows and calls time on the first half here in Copenhagen, where it is Napoli 1, Copenhagen 0, courtesy of a McTominay header from a corner. The main talking point outside of that fantastic goal being the 35th minute dismissal of the Copenhagen captain Delaney for a high tackle. He can have no complaints. And at half-time here in Copenhagen, it is Copenhagen 0, Napoli 1.
Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's...
Good evening, folks. Welcome back here to the second half of Copenhagen-Napoli. Copenhagen trailing the Italians by 1-0 and down to 10 men. So all to do for the Danish current league title holders here in the capital this evening at the Parken Stadium. Just before we get back up and running with the live action, the players are emerging from the tunnel now as we speak, but some scores from around the tournament here on match day number 7. So Real Madrid, a Kylian Mbappe double against his former side. Monaco see the Spanish Giants leading 2-0. as they begin the second half in Spain. Inter Milan at home to Arsenal, trailing by 1 goal. So it's 2-1 to the English side there, a Gabriel Jesus brace. Not the biggest surprise of the day, we'll get to that, but Tottenham beating Dortmund at home, 2-0. Tottenham under pressure after some poor league form. Dortmund reduced to 10 men in that game. Villarreal lead Ajax by 1-0 at home. Sporting and PSG currently 0-0. Olympiacos leading Leverkusen by 2-0. As I said here, Napoli 1 to the good against Copenhagen. And in the earlier fixtures, Club Brugge winning away from home against Almaty 4-1. And the big shock of the day, Manchester City, 10 men Manchester City, Rodri sent off, losing away at Bodo Glimt 3-1. So that's around the ground, and back to the live action here as we're just about to get underway. And Copenhagen, 10 men, trailing by a man, trailing by a goal, as Napoli get us up and running, and instantly, this time attacking from left to right, starts with their trademark pressure. The Copenhagen shape hasn't changed. There are no substitutions to speak of from either side at half-time, and very much like the first half, the pattern of play is similar with Napoli. 1 minute into the second half, still yet to allow their Danish counterparts a touch of the ball. A must-win game, as I said earlier, in the table. It was tight between the two. It was Napoli who were occupying the last playoff space. A victory here will see them quite comfortably into those playoff spaces, and probably really all but end Copenhagen's participation in the tournament going forward, barring a miracle in the last game, as Napoli continue to just dominate the ball here, edging closer, but really the whole of this second half has been played within about 30 yards of the halfway line either side of it, as Juan Jesus misplaces a pass forward and Copenhagen can clear, but as I suspect will be the pattern, they can clear it up the field, but there is no one there on the receiving end. The energy of Cornelius and Dassen in the first half, when it was 11v11, not present anymore. They're not as willing to run the channels. There's a slight change in the shape. It is 5-3-1 for Copenhagen, and it looks like it's Elianusi who's been charged with providing as much support as possible to Cornelius as and when the ball reaches the big front man. So ball under challenge, and it goes out for a throw-in, and this time it's Napoli throwing it into McTominay, who, smart touch, sees him beat his man, plays a 1-2, and Vergara can bring the ball forward before being dispossessed fairly by Suzuki, who was aggressive in the tackle. And maybe this is a feature of Copenhagen as they look to try and work their way into the game. The defender has continued to run up the pitch, creating an extra man in attack when Copenhagen have got the ball. They turn down the option to use him, and the ball finds itself all the way back to Katarski, who exchanges passes with Hatzidiakos, who came on for Victor Dassen, who was sacrificed in the aftermath of that Delaney red card. A red card that, as I said in the first half, if you were with us, he can have absolutely no complaints about the VAR review in the on-field decision of yellow card. As a big ball forward finds Elmas in the box, squares it, but poor pass. It goes behind Højlund. I think that was equal measures, bad pass and bad movement from the Danish forward there, as the ball was played in behind him, and the clearance is mopped up by Milinkovic-Savic, and Napoli can start an attack once again down the left-hand side with Spinazzola advancing unchallenged, 30 yards from goal, into the feet of Vergara. Vergara back to Lobotka. Lobotka out to Di Lorenzo. Gutierrez now whips it in, blocked. Lobotka feeds it back into Di Lorenzo, who's inside the 18-yard box attacking. Out to Gutierrez, who's free man here, now under challenge, pops it back, and the ball finds itself into the box of Vergara, advancing left-footed strike on goal, and it's comfortably saved by Katarski. Ball in hand, rushes to the 18-yard box, threatening to start play quickly before taking 5 or 6 steps backwards and waiting for some form of pattern to emerge in front of him, where he will feed the ball into the feet of Pereira. A couple of passes now, but Napoli quick in the press, and there's no time to rest on the ball, and Suzuki plays it into Elianusi, who's come deep, and the ball finds itself back to the Copenhagen goalkeeper with a long ball up to Cornelius, who does very well to rise and bring the ball down with a header towards a colleague, which is misjudged, and Napoli once again can come forward. 6 men around the ball, popping it off to each other before any Copenhagen player can get near them. McTominay looking to dictate from deep, right-footed, short pass, dummies a long one, plays it short. Vergara in space, turns on a sixpence and then challenged, pulls back the man, excuse me, and that will be a free kick won by Gabriel Pereira in the back line there for Copenhagen. Fair challenge, first of all, from Vergara, but it was actually McTominay who was adjudged to make the foul, and a short free kick. Napoli now popping the ball around themselves, trying to string a few passes together. They manage 4 before losing the ball, adjudged unfairly losing the ball just as they enter the centre circle as they try to get up the pitch. Ball possession 66% for Napoli, 34% for Copenhagen. That is a reflection of the pattern of play, really, is Napoli dominating the ball. I'm surprised it's not more, actually, as a short free kick is eventually pumped forward, and Cornelius once again, I think that's the 3rd or the 4th time in this half alone that the ball has been played up high to him, but it's just not enough quality into him. It's all above the neck, and there's not so much he can do with it. And Napoli stride forward now, taking it in turns to protect the ball as they advance territorially into the Copenhagen half. Halfway inside it now, ball at the feet of Lobotka, who sprays it all the way out from the left to the right-hand side to Gutierrez, brings it down to Di Lorenzo, who elects to play it backwards before losing the ball out, and it's a throw-in to Copenhagen. Tenacious work there as they try to recover the ball, some good defensive work. I think the pattern or the tactic is clear for Copenhagen here. They're in their shape 5-3-1 without the ball, and anytime they do get it, they're trying to get it up to Cornelius as quick as possible. He'll want better service, there is no doubt of that, but he wants to get runners around him, and the throw-in is taken by Copenhagen, but the ball kind of falls out of the hands of Lopez, and when it's not going your way, it's not going your way, and the referee has judged that to be a foul throw, and he won't get another chance to try and take it, as Napoli now receive possession of the ball with a throw-in down the right-hand side. As the scores stay the same, this raises Napoli to 16th in the league table. They'll be wanting to keep it that way, and challenge in the middle of the pitch, this time Madsen, and it leaves Spinazzola writhing around in pain on the floor. Referee has kept his cards in his pocket. It was a high challenge in the sense of aerial, not high foot, and just a collision as Spinazzola jumps to win the ball. Maybe a dead leg, he's grabbing his quad here, he's on the ground. It's not play acting by any stretch, but I think where the coming together has happened. Aerially, he's just got a bit of a sore one there, and on a night as brisk as this, that might take some running off. He really is in some pain there. The ball bounced up off of his knee, and yeah, it's just a clash of the two knees. An awkward one rather than anything sinister there from Melling. It was the right back who made contacts, but yeah, an open knee joint there clashing with another knee, and that it looks like a painful one, but nothing untoward about it. No violent conduct, none of that, not even a yellow card, just a coming together, and the magic spray is ferociously being applied to Spinazzola here as he writhes around on the floor, receiving his treatment. Up on his feet now, slight hobble. No protestation that the referee should have given more or taken more action there, as the substitutes vigorously warm up here, and I wonder how long it will be before, if in fact Conte decides to go a bit more attacking to try and maximise the advantage and work on that goal difference, which I'm sure will come into play in this tight Champions League table. So with 10 men apiece on the pitch now, as Spinazzola's off receiving treatment, a visible difference in the speed at which Copenhagen are pressing. They're obviously feeling that while they've got the same numbers on the pitch, they might have a chance to try and equalise the play here. It's 10v10 whilst he receives treatment, and Napoli using the time, as you'd expect, just popping the ball around, trying not to give any kind of encouragement to the Danish team while the numbers are equal. 55 minutes on the clock, still McTominay's goal separating the two sides. The bigger talking point being the red card, in my opinion, fairly dished out to Delaney, as Napoli continue to rotate the ball, gaining yards each time. Now a ball forward through the line sees Elmas approaching the 18-yard box, out to Gutierrez, who gets to the byline, delivers it right-footed towards the near post, but claimed by Contatc. Very easy to deliver the cross there for Napoli. Just one dip of the shoulder and he beats his man on the outside. No real pace on the ball, and Contatc easily collects it before rolling it out. And now big long ball forward. Absolutely dreadful decision making there by Elyounoussi. A long ball forward is cleared by the head of the Napoli defence, and it falls to Elyounoussi about 40 yards from goal, who decides inexplicably to try and volley it first time. Scuffs it, doesn't even make it out for a throw-in or a goal kick. Milinkovic-Savic can sprint out to claim the ball and start another wave of attack. For the Italians, who are playing in that beautiful midnight blue kit, a sky blue numbers and letters on the back, lots of gloves on display, lots of base layers, but a real sharp contrast in the kits here, all midnight blue, shooting from left to right. Copenhagen defending the goal from right to left in their all-white kit with a sky blue, royal blue type trim. And a throw-in now for the Danes, deep inside their own half. On the right-hand side, Madsen, ball, back to goal. Looking for an angle, he's backed up by McTominay, who presses him well. Eventually a pass into the feet of Elyounoussi, who comes deep and gives the ball away in trying to feed Cornelius, and now Napoli can spring forward. Overhit pass towards the left, towards Elmas. He does well to keep it in, only just mind. I think some of the ball was out of play, but just enough of it remained in. As Napoli stride forward, Lobotka into the feet of Højlund. Højlund in the 18-yard box, twists, turns, shoots wide of the goal via a deflection, and that will be a corner kick, this time on the attacking left. Højlund did well to create a yard of space from there. There was a challenge that came in, and there wasn't much contact, but there could have been. If he'd have just kept his foot still, he might have been asking the referee to make a decision there, but the shot deflected wide of the far post and down the attacking left of Napoli. It will be a right foot in swinger, men flooding the near post. Zonal marking by Copenhagen, in towards the near post, flicked off a Copenhagen head, and that will be another corner. This time, once again, from the right-hand side. Referee taking a close look at some of the marking that's going on here. Napoli sort of formed a bit of a bus stop formation as all the big guys are in the middle of the pitch, no one at the near post this time, they're all at the back. Now the runners split, ball in towards the box, and the keeper claims, fumbles, and it's cleared back to the corner taker, Elmas, who fakes to deliver, then does so. Cleared by Copenhagen, only so far as Gutierrez, who headers it from the centre of the pitch all the way out to the left to Elmas, who gives away a throw-in to Copenhagen, halfway inside the Copenhagen half. Well defended in the end, it has to be said. The keeper came, made a bit of a hash of it. I think he didn't call it there, and actually the defender, his own defender, headed it out of his hands. And fortunately for Copenhagen, there was not an attacker that could react quick enough as the throw-in is taken. And a few loose passes. They're living a bit dangerously here, but the ball does finally settle with Suzuki, who sprints forward and has actually made great ground as he enters the Napoli half now, roaming forward. Plays it out towards the left now to Achori. We haven't seen much of him in this game, he's been quiet. Back to the defenders, who spray out wide to Melling. Lovely ball down his chest, in towards the near post, cleared at the near post by Napoli. A brief period of pressure here as they try and play the ball down the right-hand side, and Melling gets to the byline, cuts it in, right-footed, cleared at the near post once again. Cornelius, arms raised, he wanted that deep to the back post where he'd peeled off and created some space for himself, and now Napoli with a chance to try and come away with the ball. And rather softly, in the opinion of the Danish fans, the referee has given a free kick to Napoli, deep inside their own half on the left wing. As we see the replay there, and it was soft, it was a challenge that didn't need to be made. It was Elmas doing his defensive duties, and he'd nowhere to go, but between Melling and Madsen, they ball him down, and Napoli in no rush to take the free kick, but when they do so, they roll it back 5 yards to Milinkovic-Savic, who pops it out, plays it short, and they win the ball back. Copenhagen only to give it away again, only to win it back again, and a bit of frantic giving the ball away there, finds it to the feet of Cornelius, who enters the 18-yard box on an angle, but is running away from goal. Now down the right-hand side, holding off the defender strongly, tries to win a free kick, instead wins a corner kick. And an opportunity here for Copenhagen to, out of the blue, try and fashion a chance in this corner. As you see a replay, I think the linesman, who, it has to be said, has got the best view in the house, he's a yard from it. It touches absolutely no part of the Napoli defender. And could this be the change in fortune? Could this be the bit of luck that Copenhagen need to try and get themselves back on terms? Elianusi certainly thinks so. He bounces the ball and then kisses it before placing it in the corner quadrant. Attacking right, flare behind the goal, smoke bellowing, big pink sign, trying to get behind their men, the Copenhagen fans, as the arm is raised. Elianusi, everyone in the box, zonal marking, right foot, outswinger towards the penalty spot. Suzuki rises highest, wins the first one. Cornelius, and it's saved at point blank range. Madsen, I beg your pardon, not Cornelius, who'd picked up the second ball, has to do better. Within the 6-yard box, it was a header in from Pereira, it was, and Suzuki, I beg your pardon, Madsen has nipped in front of the defender and just tried to hook it on the swivel volley, when really it was there for him to put his foot through it. And that's a huge let-off for Napoli and a huge opportunity missed by Copenhagen from 6 yards, centre of the goal, tamely played into the goalkeeper's arms, and they'll be grateful as they get another attack going, Napoli. But confidence will be bred from that, and Copenhagen look like they've now got an extra yard of pressing in them as they press the back line of Napoli, who do well in playing around it. And now it's Højlund, who's got between lines and runs forward, plays it out to Elmas, who's happy to slow the pace of the game, into Lobotka via a couple of quick passes, who sprays it out to the right to Di Lorenzo, whipped in towards the on-rushing Højlund, but it falls safely out of play. And with half an hour left on the clock, 61 minutes gone here, a noticeable urgency in Copenhagen's attempts to get the ball back into play. There's a slight delay here because there will be the first substitutions of the night, and it's Napoli who blink first. Vergara making way. A bright game from him, good trickery. It's Vergara and Spinazzola, the players making their way, and Oliveira and Lang, the two that are coming on to the field of play, decked in winter gear as they take to the frosty evening pitch. And in retaliation, Copenhagen are going to make their own substitutions. It's Achuri, who I mentioned we've not seen too much of, and Cornelius, who, fair to say, has been fed on scraps since the setting off, and they're replaced by Clem and Larsen. So, 2 substitutions apiece. Cornelius, frustrated figure as he leaves the pitch. He's spent a lot of energy, as is customary now. A big piece of paper delivered from one of the Danish substitutes as they come onto the pitch, and it's Madsen who was on the receiving end of that note, and he's just popped it down his shorts. So not the most comfortable place to put an A4 piece of paper. I'm sure when he's next near the byline, he'll get rid of that, unless he's trying to save the notes to reread again later. But alas, the substitutes are made, the goal kick is taken, and the ball is out to the right hand side to Melling. Played long, but won by Napoli. And we'll come to you with a change in shape. It looks like they have changed shape, Copenhagen, here, with the substitutions that they've made. We'll just see how that settles down when the ball is out of play here. It's charged down by Copenhagen. It's a Napoli goal kick. So it looks like, is it a change of shape? Larsen's gone up front. He's the lone man up front for Copenhagen. Napoli like for like with the substitutions, but a change of shape. No, is there a change of shape? No, it's Larsen up front. It looks like they're going to play. No, they've kept their 5-3-1, but just a bit more energy in that midfield 3 for Copenhagen, and the 5 strewn across the back. It certainly looks like they were prepared to press a bit more. Larsen, the substitute, making a lot more efforts in trying to harry down the defenders, who, it has to be said, have not been put under too much pressure this evening when they've had the ball at the back and they play it around. So, Napoli coming forward now, small passes into the feet of Højlund. Højlund plays it into Elmas. Elmas went too early, and that is an offside and a indirect free kick therefore for Copenhagen, about 18 yards from their own goal. Larsson, energetic figure up front for Copenhagen. He'll be trying to get them back into it. Cornelius very much at the other end of the spectrum, a big physical presence up there. I suspect we'll start to see more balls down the channels for Larsson to chase, or into his feet, rather than the aerial bombardment that Cornelius had to deal with. As the free kick from that offside is taken, and Copenhagen turned down the opportunity to go long, instead playing it short across the back, only to give it away now. And Napoli stream forward down the left-hand side. It's Di Lorenzo, makes his way into the box, cuts it back left-footed, and it is cut back and ricocheted into the path of the goalkeeper, who comfortably collects it. For Copenhagen, it's Contatc, looking for his options, frustratingly banging his hands together, waiting, wondering why no one's showing for him, but he's got time. They're patient, the Napoli players. They get into their shape and they're almost waiting for Copenhagen to make the decision for them, and from the resulting ball in the goalkeeper's hands, they try to play it across the back line again, and it's a frustrating pattern for the Copenhagen fans. It really is. They try to play short, the options aren't there for them, and they end up playing long, and there's no real focal point. It's an aimless pass, and Napoli can win the ball back. And they do so before popping it out for a throw-in, which is taken by Napoli, and then given away again, just as I described, with a direct ball forward that wasn't picked out. However, a loose bit of control from Napoli sees Copenhagen come through forward with the ball, and Larsson, and now into the feet of Madsen. Madsen playing it around the midfield now. All the Napoli players behind the ball, everyone back inside their own half, inviting on some pressure, asking Copenhagen to break them down, letting Hatzidikos come forward with the ball. Exchanging passes now with Pereira, looking for an option, and it goes all the way back to the last defender, which is Suzuki. Inside left channel, well inside his own half, loose pass forward. Now Napoli can spring forward, but an overhit pass forward towards the attacker is cut out, and Copenhagen come away with the ball before giving it away again. And this is a frustrating pattern of play for both sides. They're giving away the ball here. Napoli won't mind too much, as they're the ones on the attack now. With Lobotka on the ball to McTominay, left-footed, 25 yards from goal, plays it out to the left-hand side. Receives the ball back now, 30 yards from goal. He's retreated somewhat, plays it into the middle of the pitch. Copenhagen with every single player behind the ball. Di Lorenzo now, the Napoli captain, with the ball down the right to Gutierrez. Gutierrez back, all the way back, and it is Juan Jesus with the ball. Into Lobotka, receives it back. Napoli happily manipulating the ball across the back line, everyone getting a touch. Copenhagen just shuffling across in units, trying to block the space, trying to make Napoli play. They're content just to pop it around, patiently waiting for that opening to come, and when it does come, they'll try and execute, but the ball is still being recycled backwards and forwards, side to side, still 40 yards from goal. As Elmas now with the ball, who's switched flanks, he's now on the right hand side. McTominay comes very deep to pick it up, 45 yards from goal, beats a man, looks to play it forward, turns it down and plays it out towards the left-hand side. And then receives it back again. Patient play here, everyone from Copenhagen still behind the ball. They're not pressing it, they're just inviting on the pressure. Quick pass into the feet of Højlund. Højlund turns, plays it into the middle of the D 18-yard box, and it's cleared comfortably by Copenhagen into Larsson, who can't get there, but a ricochet does in fact see the ball into the feet of Elyounoussi, who comes forward, plays it into Larsson. Larsson faces up his man into the 18-yard box, step over, left foot, gets the ball stuck under his feet, plays it into the on-rushing Madsen. Madsen now on the edge of the box, back out to the left. Suzuki has joined the play now, 25 yards from goal in the middle of the pitch. Elyounoussi into the right back Melling. Melling into Elyounoussi. Elyounoussi into the box, right-footed. Goes down under a challenge, and they're appealing, and the referee has given it. It's a penalty kick here, and out of nowhere, an injection of pace. Elyounoussi shrugs off the challenge. The first one goes down again. It looks like a tangling of feet. The Napoli players are arguing it will obviously be subject to a check. The Copenhagen fans are delighted. All the players congratulating Elyounoussi. As I see the replay now, it's a penalty. I have to say, it's an unnecessary piece of play. Elyounoussi is going away from goal, and It's Buongiorno who's come in from the side and shoulder barged him, but he's done it from behind. It's to the side and slightly behind, and it's not shoulder to shoulder, it's more like a shoulder to the back or the side, sort of lateral side. Di Lorenzo remonstrating. He's standing between the referee and the penalty spot here as the ball is being protected by Melling, I think it is. I don't know if he's going to take the penalty, but he's certainly the allocated ball protector. All the Napoli players are now around the referee. Referee walking towards the penalty spot. It looks like he's not for changing. It doesn't even really look like there's a VAR check going on, and I have to say the referee here is a big decision, but it is the right decision. The Italians are not letting this lie. Milenkovic-Savic has come all the way out of his goal. He's standing a yard from the penalty spot. The ball is now on the spot. Melling has put it down. Perhaps he is the penalty taker. No, he's not. He's just protecting the ball. Larsson enters the fray now. And yep, it's Larsson who's going to take the penalty. Melling was the protector. Larsson now picks the ball back up off the spot. And the substitute, he's not been on the pitch long, but he's got a huge opportunity here to bring his side back into the play and a lifeline in the tournament, in fact, if they can put this away. Milenkovic trying to look intimidating, he very easily, effortlessly can reach the crossbar when he raises his arms above his head. Now he crouches down low, jumps high. Larsson, deliberate strides back, hands on hip. He's lining up as if he's going to take it left-footed. They're staring each other out. Referee making sure the penalty spot is clear. Arm in the air, whistle blows. A big, deep breath, a huge moment here. Shuffles, runs up, left-footed to the keeper's right, save, but the rebound straight back to the taker. Buried into the nets, and that is Copenhagen 1, Napoli 1. The flares are everywhere. What scenes here in Copenhagen. Larsson, a terrible penalty, terrible penalty, but the rebound straight back to his feet, and he made no mistake at the second attempt. And out of absolutely nowhere, Copenhagen, as Larsson points to the sky, are back in this tie, 1-1. Conte clapping, trying to rally his side. Larsson whipping up the crowd into a frenzy. Terrible penalty, fortunate with the rebound. It was down low to the keeper's right, but it was centre of the goal, centre right. Really poor penalty, easy save, but the rebound straight back to the taker's feet, and he makes no mistake. And really, actually, Milenkovic-Savic will be disappointed he couldn't parry that outside of the danger. It was such a straight, it was only a yard or so off of the centre line, and I think the goalkeeper almost cramped, couldn't push the ball with an outstretched arm. It was kind of body line sort of into him, and yeah, almost spooned it back towards the taker, but he won't care one jot, will Larsson, and that is 1-1. And what a game on our hands now. Jordan Larsson pouncing on the rebound, 1-1, 72 minutes gone here. A huge 20-25 minutes left for both sides to try and stamp some authority on the game. As Copenhagen get into shape, Napoli manipulate the ball, coming forward, but harmless side to side. There's no real penetration in their play, and that's really a pattern so far. They're happy to pop it about as they look to play it forward there, but Højlund can't bring it under, and it's hacked clear by Copenhagen for a throw-in to Napoli. So 73 minutes on the clock, 1 goal apiece. 11 men of Napoli level with the 10 men of Copenhagen. And is this the pattern of play we're going to expect to see now? Will Copenhagen be happy to take that point and get out of here with their numerical disadvantage? Copenhagen coming forward down the right, weak cross cleared. Di Lorenzo, 20 yards from goal, right hand side, whips it in near post, cleared at the first man once again. Lobotka picks up the clearance. Juan Jesus, left foot, forward. McTominay's come very deep, almost like he's making up a back three. Plays it to Juan Jesus. The ball, a couple of passes before it finds its way back out to the right hand side to Gutierrez, shapes up his man, dips to the left, rolls it back to Lobotka, seeing a lot of the ball again. Elmas now drives forward, trying to get into the box, can't. Out to Gutierrez, left foot delivery, faked it to Lobotka, short. Now whipped in, cleared, centre of the goal by Copenhagen, who will fancy to defend those deep crosses with no real pace all day long if they can. Collision in field, referee judges there to be no foul, but does bring a halt to proceedings, as it looks like a slight head injury and a chance to catch our breath after that frantic minute or two around the penalty. No complaints around the penalty. The referee got that spot on, and the substitute Larsson doing what he was brought on to do. 3 goals in 7 matches for the Copenhagen forward, and he came on to replace Elias Achuri, who hadn't really made an impact on the game. Napoli with another stub now. Looks like an attacking one here as a sacrifice. Who are they taking off here? Gutierrez is coming off for Napoli, being replaced by Ambrosino, who comes on. I'll make that a midfielder for a defender. So, with 74 minutes on the clock, a few changes apiece, and Napoli with the ball at their feet after treatment has been received. Forward they come, popping the ball about 35-40 yards away from the Copenhagen goal. Again, the familiar pattern, side to side to side. Indeed, this confirmation of that substitution as Miguel Gutierrez made way for Giuseppe Ambrosini. Defender off, forward on. Some neat passing finds the ball into the 18-yard box, but it's snuffed out and cleared by Copenhagen, only so far as Juan Jesus, who spreads it out to the left-hand side. Attack they do now down the left, Napoli. Cross comes in, low, blocked, cleared. And Napoli now trying to get a line high enough to gain some territory, as Larsson is adjudged to have made a foul, contesting an aerial ball, a foul he didn't have to make, and that's a free kick taken very quickly in the centre of the pitch, inside the centre circle by Napoli as they come forward once again down the left. Down the left they come, to the byline. Inside to McTominay, who's on the edge of the box, passes it into nobody and it's intercepted. Tried a cute pass there, maybe he would have been better off trying to have an attempt on goal. As Madsen now receives the ball under pressure as Copenhagen try to clear, pops it back into the defender Pereira, who hacks it clear only so far as Di Lorenzo, who wins the ball for Napoli on the halfway line, and another attack launched. Lobotka this time coming deep. Diminutive player, short sleeves, gloves on. He's seen a lot of the ball. He's a technician, this man. Out to the left-hand side. McTominay now, left edge of the box, right-footed into Lobotka. Lobotka rolls his man, gives it back to a defender who plays it all the way back out to the left-hand side. Juan Jesus with it. Now McTominay from deep. It's Noah Lang who's seen plenty of the ball down that left-hand side, but gives it away, and now Copenhagen can spring with Elianusi, who looks up. He's only got Larsson ahead of him, and he tries to play Larsson down the line, but kicks it out of play. He wants a free kick, but the referee won't fall for that. And even though he was caught slightly as he made the pass, there's nothing in that. And a throw-in taken quickly, deep inside the Napoli half, under no pressure, thrown back to the goalkeeper Milinkovic-Savic, who springs an attack by playing it quickly forward. Lobotka and McTominay exchanging passes. Højlund now, ball at his feet. Terrible pass out towards the left, but Lang will make it look like a good pass by getting there quickly. He does so. Back to Lobotka, middle of the pitch, 30 yards from goal. Slides it into McTominay, who's in the box. Left-hand side, drives it in, and it's a corner kick to Napoli. McTominay in an advanced position there. He's taken up a lot of good spaces in between the lines this evening, McTominay. Really impressed by the former Manchester United midfielder here, who's come alive since joining the Serie A side. Successful season last season. They love him over there. He's the difference maker again tonight, as the corner on the left-hand side looks like an in-swinger from Lang this time. Hand raised, near post is where the men are. Hit towards the goalkeeper, who comes to claim it but can't get there before his defender clears it, and the loose ball popped back into the box before cleared. And Copenhagen are now going to try and spring an attack, but they can't get on the end of it. A poor ball, and Napoli, familiar pattern, recycle the ball. 78 minutes on the clock. It feels a bit breathless the last 10 minutes. It's been a lot of action. Napoli penetrating, probing, trying to find their way back into the lead. They'll really feel like an opportunity missed here if they only escape with a point. And as I say that, Larsson pounces on a loose ball and makes 30 yards, 40 yards of ground up and enters the Napoli half here. Now plays it down and it's into the box with Madsen. Madsen tries to play a cute little reverse pass into Larsson, which would have seen him one-on-one, but intercepted. And Napoli can bring the ball away now with Ambrosino, who is adjudged to have been fouled by the substitute Clem. And this will be a bit of a respite for both sets of players, as a free kick is awarded to Napoli, which they take quickly and advance down the left-hand side. Ball into the box. It's a loose pass all the way across goal, and it goes out harmlessly for a throw-in deep inside the Copenhagen half on their defensive right. It was Ambrosino who played the ball across goal very aimlessly. If he had the composure there to get his head up well, firstly, he'd have realised there was no one in the box ready to play it to, and secondly, he would have made a better choice because of that. No one there to pick up on that ball, even if it was struck a little bit softer. As Copenhagen now, the referee's kind of interfering here. He can see that there's some time being taken out of the game as they approach the ball. And Napoli and Copenhagen both look to the bench here, and it's a good opportunity to make some more substitutions, and it is the Danish side going first, and it's Madsen who is making way, the central midfielder. In fact, it's a double substitution, so it's Madsen's definitely one of the ones coming off. Madsen and Melling. So the right back and the centre midfielder making way. And it'll be Klaassen and Garananga who come on the pitch. Some fresh legs for the last 10-15 minutes or so of the game. And you have to say it's all up for grabs. I think the first half it was all Napoli, but this second half, whilst they've had that possession, they've dominated the possession. I think Copenhagen have hung in there, and in truth they'll be happy with the lack of chances they've conceded on their goal. There really hasn't been much goal-mouth action in this game. And I do think that if Napoli get away with this with only a point, given their advantage, numerical advantage for almost an hour of the game, they'll be really disappointed they didn't work the keeper more. As now the substitutions are made and Napoli are forced into some defensive work from the resulting throw, as Copenhagen come forward, and now they find themselves 20 yards or so inside the Napoli half. Lots of energy in the Napoli press. They don't want to let the Danish side get any confidence here in popping the ball around. And that pressure forces the ball all the way back to the goalkeeper, who pumps it long. And the substitute, Klaassen, is adjudged to have been fouled as he tries to beat his man to get onto the end of that long ball. And the referee gives a free kick deep inside the Napoli half and brandishes a yellow card to Di Lorenzo, who, on review there, as we see the replay, did indeed have a good fistful of the shirt of Klaassen as he tried to outrun the defender and get in behind. So a free kick here, about 35-40 yards away from the Napoli goal, down the attacking left-hand side of Copenhagen, as we just get confirmation through there of the Di Lorenzo booking. Left foot down the left-hand side, it's going to be an outswinger. It's a high line here for Napoli. They've got all of their defensive players in a line right on the 18-yard box. Copenhagen have pushed everyone towards the back post. I can sense this is going to be whipped in around about the penalty spot, the gap between keeper and defensive line, and it is towards the back post. Suzuki rises the highest, and the header straight to Milenkovic-Savic, who receives the ball in hand and wastes absolutely no time in pumping it long field, and he finds the man. An on-rushing goalkeeper comes a mile out of his goal, gets absolutely nowhere near it, but the Napoli striker's touch took it away from goal rather than to goal, and that's a huge let-off. It was Lang who was the first to the ball. Takes it away from the goalkeeper. It's a throw-in, which they take quickly before delivering across into the box on the right-hand side, Napoli, which McTominay gets on the end of, having made a deep run, but heads it into the ground, and it bounces harmlessly into the arms of the Copenhagen goalkeeper, Contatc. But a bit of a heart-in-mouth moment there for Contatc, who came a long way to pick up that Milenkovic-Savic quick restart. Luckily, he didn't collide with anyone, otherwise it would have been an interesting decision from the referee, and the touch from Lang was away from goal, out of harm's way, and nothing came of it in the end, as we just get confirmation of a substitute that Napoli made at the same time as that double Copenhagen substitute. It was Elmas who's been lively, he's gone off, and Luca has come on. So Napoli, 13 attempts on goal compared to Copenhagen's 5, but only 5 on target for Napoli, whereas Copenhagen have got 4 out of their 5 attempts on target, although those attempts were quite tame headers from corner kicks. The stats on that occasion not necessarily painting the picture, as Napoli edge forward by passing the ball side to side to side. Now into the 18-yard box with a cross, and the ball is flicked on. It's a great save from Contatc. Reaction save as a flicked on header is met by the on-rushing Napoli forward, who heads it back across goal. And Contatc there, great save. Great save from 7 yards out, resulting in a corner kick, which Lang will go across to take now. Little chance there for Napoli, came out of nowhere. Right-footed in-swinger, left-hand side, towards the front post, flicked on at the near post by a Napoli head, and that's a goal kick. A goal kick. As we just see that chance again, it was a bit of a reaction stop. The ball was behind The on-rushing Oliveira it was who tried to connect with it, but such was the proximity of the chance, it's quite close to the goal. The goalkeeper had to go back on himself and above his head to tip it over the bar, and he'll be pleased with that one as he takes all the time he's legally afforded to by the referee to take a goal kick. 85 minutes on the clock, the flares and the flags still going strong from the Copenhagen faithful. They'll be absolutely delighted with the fight, resilience and in moments quality that their team has shown in this second half as they look to try and salvage their Champions League hopes. As the ball is pumped forward and Klaassen wins a free kick after an aerial duel, which Copenhagen are making their intentions clear here. They're pushing all their players forward to try and make the most of this attacking free kick. It's about 10 yards inside the Napoli half. On the left-hand side, there's not so much of an angle. It's about 20 yards in from the boundary of the pitch here. So it's going to be quite a straight delivery here from the left-footed. Once again, parting all the players towards the back post. A high line from Napoli, whipped in, cleared at the first man by Napoli, and it's Lang who will try and come forward but loses the ball after a poor touch. And it is the goalkeeper Contatc who receives the ball and pumps it long forward to the Napoli goal. Copenhagen land on the second ball but give away a foul, and it will be a free kick to Napoli, halfway inside their own half, dead centre of the pitch, which McTominay spots and gets the ball rolling quickly. Neither side really asserting any dominance over the last 3 or 4 minutes. It's been a little bit scrappy since the substitutions disrupted the flow of the game. 86 minutes on the clock. Is there time for a winner? It's Napoli, ball at feet, still that same patient approach, tactical, pragmatic in the way they play the ball, popping it side to side. Ambrosini off the right, whipped in towards Højlund, misses him out, cleared only so far as Juan Jesus strides onto the ball. Plays it out to the left towards Lang, gets the ball stuck under his feet but invites a challenge which he rides. Still down the left hand side, infield to Oliveira, gives it away, and now Elianusi can come forward. Copenhagen trying to find runners but they can't give the ball away, and they'll want to show a little bit more care over this ball if they're going to see the game out and maintain their points that they've got on the board right now. A few careless moments there, just inviting pressure back on, and you have to think that as time dwindles, Napoli may get more direct as McTominay comes forward now with the ball. Turning down short passes, plays a direct one into the feet of Højlund, who once again with a really poor touch gives it away and then fouls the Copenhagen defender Diakos as he clears the ball. And as the referee does blow for the free kick, it's almost a sign that in unison a few of the Copenhagen players go down, signalling cramp. They have put in a shift. They've had that numerical disadvantage, as I say, for some time now, and they've all worked hard to try and maintain the parity of score and make sure they don't sink further behind, which would have made it almost impossible to come back from. Alas, they didn't. They've fought, they've represented their fans well tonight. Passion, energy, 1 goal apiece. 88 minutes on the clock as the goalkeeper pumps the ball forward. A bit of indecisive defending there from Napoli. Leeds, Klaassen can get on the end of it, but he does so illegally, barging someone out the way as he gets a little bit too enthusiastic as the ball got to him, and a soft free kick concedes, if you like, the momentum back to Copenhagen. Rather, back to Napoli. Short free kick forward, entering the Napoli attacking half now. Copenhagen, all the men back in their own half trying to defend it. They do so well, winning the ball and pumping it long. It's survival time now for Copenhagen. There's no one forward. They're all behind the ball. That was a long ball forward to nobody. Milinkovic-Savic taking receipt of the ball on the halfway line. Plays it out towards the right to Ambrosino. Ambrosino to Lobotka. 30 yards from goal, suffocating Copenhagen now. All men behind the ball. Ambrosino, right-footed from the right, blocked. Corner. A corner down the attacking right-hand side. 89 minutes on the clock. Anything now in terms of a goal would be a sickener for Copenhagen. Delight for Napoli. They're attacking the goal that their fans are behind. A reminder that they have not picked up a point on the road in this Champions League match day format this season. as Lang comes across, right-footed outswinger from the right-hand side, near post, misses it out into the middle of the box. Loose ball. Napoli players are asking for a handball here. Nothing clear. Play goes on. Lang delivers it again into the back post. Half cleared. Ball loose and bouncing and over the bar. Deflected over. Adjudged to be deflected off their own player, and it's a goal kick. It's Luca, head in hands. He was on an angle. He tries to hit a half volley against his own player over the bar, and that'll be a goal kick for Copenhagen. I'm not sure what the appeals were for from the initial corner delivery, but the referee he's asked the goalkeeper just to wait here. There is a check for something. The players have all taken up formation as if the game's about to go on. The goalkeeper's got his hands on his hip. Fourth official signals 6 minutes of injury time to be started, and as the referee backs away, he can now confirm play will go on. So there was obviously a check for something, but whatever it was, we haven't seen the replay deemed not to be a penalty, and with 6 minutes injury time on the clock, Contatc delivers a goal kick out of play for a Napoli goal kick. Napoli throw-in rather, deep inside their own half, which they take quickly, and a few passes later they find themselves in the Copenhagen half. 5.5 minutes of injury time remaining. Copenhagen in their shape, looking to ride it out. Ball plays forward, deflects off a Copenhagen defender, and it's out for a throw-in. Napoli to take down the right-hand side. Ambrosino. Back to Buongiorno, who gave away the penalty. Down the right-hand side again, but back to defenders. Napoli attacking. Copenhagen blocking space, in a shape, shuffling from side to side, forcing the ball wide. Now into the feet of Højlund, who's in the 18-yard box. He tries to turn, tries to get a shot off, but kicks the defender who'd got in front of the striker. Suzuki it was, great defending. He'd nicked the ball away, and he will take his time, I have absolutely no doubt, in getting up here just to try and wind down that clock a little bit further as we approach the 92nd minute of play here. Conte trying to offer encouragement. The goalkeeper beckoning players forward, wants to get the ball as far up the field as possible, as far away from his goal. An unlikely point at half-time, it seemed. Free kick taken in the goal kick position. Won by Napoli. Lobotka hooks it forward into the night sky. Ball comes down. Luca brings it under, turns his man really, really well, and accelerates away from the defenders. Lang on the ball. Now they come forward again, Napoli. They're inside the Copenhagen half down the right. It's Di Lorenzo striding forward into Ambrosino. 18 yards out from goal, down the right. Takes on his man, cuts it back to Lobotka. Back to Ambrosino. There's men in the box if they can find a delivery. Lorenzo tries to cut it back, blocks, half cleared. Napoli, territory and ball. They're 30 yards from goal down the right. Lobotka now trying to orchestrate things with his arms, with his feet. Into Ambrosino, the substitute. All right foot, goes down the outside, whips one in towards the back post, overhits it, and that will be a throw-in deep, deep, deep inside the Copenhagen half. A wasted effort there, Ambrosino. All right foot, all down the outside. Does get his cross in, but there's no one there that can pick it up. And Copenhagen in absolutely no rush to take this throw. It's Suzuki that's gone over to take it deep inside the half. And he works the line. Copenhagen win the first header, win the second header, and they gain some vital yards as they try and get the ball up the pitch. 93 minutes on the clock. The ball rolls harmlessly to Milenkovic-Savic, who is pretty much on the halfway line, who delivers it right-footed out towards Lang. Ball falls short of that, and it's Oliveira with the ball. 2 men in the box, but the ball's delivered anyway. Into the path of Højlund it was. Harmless header over by Luca, I beg your pardon. Wasn't really a chance there. It was a poor delivery. I think they could have been a bit more patient there. Waited for more men in the box. It was delivered quickly. Luca actually was offside, so had there been anything come of that, it would have been ruled out. He bites his fingernails to suggest that was potentially closer than what it was, but it wasn't. And Contatc now with 2 minutes of regulation time to play, and anything that the referee deems to add above that, takes his time to kick the ball up the field. Into the night sky, the crisp Danish night sky, this beautiful city of Copenhagen. Fans still going strong, still beckoning their team forward. The unlikely event anything happens now, but forward they come down the left. content to try and just waste the time in the corner here. No one in the box. They're not even attempting a cross. And instead the ball rolls to the defenders, and Napoli now come forward with Lobotka, who's got the ball inside his own goal, inside his own goal mouth. Runs across it, plays it out to Juan Jesus, who now comes forward 30 yards from his own goal line. Forward they come, Copenhagen players sprinting back to get into shape. At the same time, Napoli streaming forward, Lobotka, middle of the pitch, 30, 40 yards from goal. Out to McTominay. Ball now out to Lang on the left. Many men in the box. Ball delivered, overhits, sails out, and it's a goal kick to Copenhagen, and with 1 minute left on the clock. That could well be that. Conte cuts a disappointed figure on the side. He's shrugging his shoulders. He's not happy with what he's just seen there. Lack of quality as his men were getting more and more desperate to try and force the winner. 45 seconds left on the clock. You have to think that will be the last attacking action. Contatc still taking his time, big deep breath, hoof up the pitch, and the ball won by a Napoli head, only to be given away by Copenhagen, given away to Copenhagen once again. And Suzuki strides forward, looks forward, decides to come back on himself and keep the ball. 15 seconds of injury time left. 3 men in the box, a late last minute attack delivered to the back post, and El Yunusi rises high. Suzuki tries to get on the end of that, doesn't get there, and now Napoli can stream forward, and Copenhagen showed a bit of ambition there and have left themselves very short at the back as Di Lorenzo comes off down the right hand side. Lang now, right hand side, 40 yards from goal, cuts inside. There's men over at the back post who can find the play, and he's brought down cynically there by Clem as he beats the man. And this is a chance now. He had to make the challenge. We'll file that one under professional foul for Clem. Lang had beaten him all ends up, and if he'd have got his head up and played a pass, there was men over at the back post, which would have been an interesting development here, because they would have got a shot off and who knows what would have happened. But Clem raises his hand to apologise. He acknowledges that it's the only choice he had. Lang hasn't seen that yet because he's still writhing around in pain on the floor. Cynical foul. It was a professional foul. You see them every day, every time there's a game on and someone's trying to protect a point or a lead. It's a common foul. Lang not happy. Clem did what he had to do for the team, and now the last action of the game, I'm sure, will be to defend this free kick, which is in line with the right apex of the 18-yard box, about 35 yards from goal. Napoli would like a bit more of an angle on it, I'm sure, to whip it in. It's a high Copenhagen line, all the men in white on the 18-yard box. Napoli flooded the back post. There's a huge gap between goalkeeper, who's on the edge of his 6-yard box, and all the players who are on the 18-yard box. I'd expect to see this whipped in and plonked round about where the penalty spot is. High line, right-footed, whipped in towards the penalty spot, and it's cleared by Copenhagen, and they come away with it down the right-hand side, and the referee brings the whistle to his mouth. A few Copenhagen fans, players rather, put their arms in the air, raise their arms to the sky. They're delighted with the point that they've salvaged. A little bit of handbags here at the end of the game. Frustration's boiling over. There's nothing in it. The referee and the officials are quick to defuse it. And on a beautiful night here in Copenhagen, Napoli, the man advantage after that big moment in the 35th minute where Delaney got sent off, took the lead with a McTominay goal. Larsson scoring an equaliser from a rebounded penalty that he saw himself saved. And at the end of this game, honours even, Copenhagen won, Napoli won. Thank you for joining us.
On the match page.